Black, Asian, Minority, Ethnic Students Officer. The BAME Students Officers represent the views of students at York who self-define as BAME, which is including but not limited to students of African, Asian, Arab and Latin American heritages. They campaign within the union, university and in wider society, promoting equality for BAME students and celebrating the diversity of culture within the student body at York. They also lead the BAME Students Network and host regular social and campaigning events.
Thank you very much. With me now is our two people who want to be your next BAME officers. Today we've got Bajwala and Vani Mahajan. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
So you're both first years, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you enjoying York so far?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been
amazing.
really, yeah, it's really good.
That's good. That's good. And I hear that one of you does computer science, one of you does law. Is that right?
I do computer science.
Yeah, and I do a law degree.
How are you finding them both?
Difficult.
Yeah,
difficult.
It's very intense, but it's also fun. I love it.
Definitely.
That's completely fair enough. I wanted to ask you, what's your experience at York been like as a BAME person?
For me, it's been more difficult than I expected. I think coming to a university in a place which is predominantly white and especially a Russell Group university, and I'm sure everyone knows how hard it is as a person of ethnic minorities to come into a Russell Group university. I think it's been quite difficult, especially since myself and a lot of other people that I know have been the only person in their accommodation who is an ethnic minority and things like that. It was surprising to me, and there are a lot of people who I find aren't anti-racist, either because of ignorance or fear, and that's scary, and that's something which needs to be changed.
I've been quite lucky. My flat at the start of the year was and still is quite diverse, so everybody has been quite welcoming. But I've seen incidents around me and in my blog that have really opened my eyes. I've talked to a lot of people from other colleges and who are people of ethnic minorities, and they've faced racism. And it's quite scary to think that, because I've never really experienced it myself when I was at home, but coming here has really opened my eyes, and it's made me realize that it's such a big issue and we really need to tackle it. And it's more than people calling out racial slurs. It's people who you live with or who are your friends who have these perceptions of you as a person of color, and they make those microaggressions every day that need to be changed.
Absolutely. I mean, I want to move on now to your manifesto. I mean, one of the points you made here I found really interesting. You said you wanted to abolish white privilege by making education surrounding systemic racism compulsory for all students. What would this look like for you two? And would it start with just a few departments, then expand, or would you want to have it set in place for all departments straight away? And do you feel this is viable in such a small amount of time? You've only really got 1 or maybe 2 years to do this in.
Well, I think to answer your first question of whether would it just be a couple of departments, I think the main issue here is that we want it to be compulsory for everyone, because me and Vani have been talking, and I do a law degree, she does a computer science degree, and one thing we noticed is that my degree touches on it a lot. We talk about law and gender, law and race, law and morality, all these things, but Vani's degree doesn't look at it at all, and I think everybody should have at least a baseline knowledge, because at the end of the day it is everyone's responsibility to fight against systemic racism rather than just the people that it affects.
On that point of systemic racism, last year Vision revealed that just 1.7% of placed 18-year-old applicants at the University of York were black. Why do you think this is a problem, and what do you think you would do to help solve that problem if you were made BAME officers?
Well, I think one of the biggest issues that people of ethnic minorities aren't applying to Russell Group universities is because a lot of people come from backgrounds where they don't have the predicted grades when they're applying for courses.
I'm really sorry. We're going to have to cut you off there. We have to move on to the next people. William King is going to introduce you to Matt Johnston. Thank you very much.